Okay, so let's look at a credit sale return. So sales return or return inwards. All right, so we're working from the same transaction we did in the credit sales lecture. So here it is. So we already recorded that transaction up top, transaction 1, and now we're going to record transaction 2. So transaction 2 says that on the 22nd of January 2016, Cynthia Wholesale Limited returned $500 worth of goods back to our company, right? Now remember, that least two accounts are affected by this transaction. So the two accounts are Cynthia Wholesale Limited and return of goods. Now Cynthia Wholesale Limited is the one returning the goods. So then it means that this is return inwards, or it's a sales return. How we know it's a sales return? Because we sold Cynthia goods and they're returning, so it's a sales return, aka return inwards. Now we already have Cynthia Wholesale Limited's account up yonder, so we're going to not draw another one, we're going to use it. And then the other account we need is a sales return account, aka the return inwards account. Sales return or the return inwards account. Now we've already established that Cynthia Wholesale Limited is an asset, but what category of account does sales return or return inwards fall under? Now sales return, aka return inwards, does not fall under any particular category, but we know what it does. Sales return increases inventory. And the fact that it increases inventory, like we said before, sales return will always be debited because inventory is an asset. And to increase an asset, we debit. So the sales return account is always debited. And this transaction says that Cynthia Wholesale Limited returned goods to the business. So that's sales return, because we previously sold them these goods on credit. And sales return is always debited. Alright? Because it increases inventory. So we just debit the sales return account, January 22, and it's Cynthia Wholesale Limited. The value of the return was $500. And then in Cynthia's account, when Cynthia Wholesale Limited return goods to us on credit, return goods that they've previously bought on credit, will that decrease our asset, which is the amount they owe us, or increase the amount that they owe us? It will decrease the amount that they owe us. They owed us $10,000. They returned $500 worth of goods. They will now owe us less than they owed us before. So since this transaction serves to reduce the amount of money Cynthia Wholesale owes us, it means that our asset is decreasing. And to decrease an asset, you credit. So we credit the asset account. So we see January 22 sales return, or RI, stretch this out, amount $500. And that is how we record a sales return, right? So let's just do a quick recap. This transaction affects two different accounts. Cynthia Wholesale Limited, which we established before in the previous lecture as an asset, and she returned goods. She returned goods to the company, so that is sales return or return inwards, right? And we said before, when we looked at the asset of stock, we said that sales return increases inventory. When people bring goods back to the business, that will increase the amount of stock we now have on hand. So that increases inventory. Inventory is an asset. To increase an asset, you debit. So sales return is always debited. Sales return / return inwards is always debited because of the double entry rule that relates to asset. Totals